So, the astral and the ethereal. Unlike with other very similar sounding places, I don't think these two could be further apart. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Dirty 20s D&D, where today we are starting a series about deep dives into D&D lore and answering the questions that you need answering. So the astral and the ethereal, what are they? Why do they sound so similar, and why are they very much not the same? The Astral Plane, also known as the Astral Sea, is a void of nothingness, a barren dimensional abyss that extends in all directions forever. It can be accessed from any point on the material plane or the first layer of any of the outer planes, such as the Abyss or Arcadia. It lacks conventional gravity and, as such, time as well, with objects still holding mass and momentum, but not that attractive force that would bind them together into worlds. Also, while it may appear like time passes as objects move and thoughts unfold, no one gets hungry, thirsty, or older. A child could get lost here for 10,000 years and emerge the same age as the day they entered, though probably horribly mentally scarred. The most common ways that creatures enter into this plane is through astrally projecting. They leave their physical bodies behind and send their minds into this other realm. Though this proves dangerous, deadly even, as the denizens that lie within have grown to adapt themselves to these planar wanderers. The other way to enter is through a planar shift or a planar portal on one of the above mentioned planes. This means that you lack the separation of body and mind as typical with the other method. However, you also lack the safety of a lifeline back home. A common feature of this plane is the colorful pools of light that each lead to one of the outer planes. They can be used to view events unfolding on these other worlds and to travel to and from them, and these are how most matter transports itself into the plane, the origin for the occasional floating rock or displaced feral garden gnome. Speaking of which, what creatures inhabit the astral plane? The first and most expected are the Gith. The Githyanki and the Githzerai were once one race, but after their freedom from the Mind Flayer slavery, they parted due to philosophical differences. It is theorized that they were once humans, but after an eternity in the astral plane, they have mutated into a completely different race. Though that's just a theory. The Githyanki, the more militaristic branch of the race, have developed a special kind of silver sword, capable of severing astral projection tethers. So if you see a Githyanki coming close to you, get out of there. And that won't be hard. They ride dragons. Speaking of mind flayers, they are the next most expected residents that you would see me speaking of here. Riding on their nautiloids, these purple tentacle-faced aberrations are psionic beings of immense power. And before their slaves were freed, they were the most powerful beings in their realm. Now that status is tenuous and faltering fast. Led by their elder brain, the thing that holds the collective knowledge of the entire species, they command complete respect and submission from all they see. Also in the realm are astral dragons and dreadnoughts, brain collectors, dowers, and foo creatures, along with whatever else manages to stumble its way in or simply use the realm as passage between the others. And now jumping to the other hand, what is the ethereal plane? Well, it's also known as the plane out of phase, and it is one filled with ghosts and monsters. It is used to travel unseen across the material plane, as it exists as the realm of lingering dead. Its native residents are ghosts, and that's about it. Other creatures such as devils and Yugoloths use the realm to move without being noticed, but do not remain there for long. There are two main ways to enter the realm. You would get an ability or spell such as Etherealness to send yourself there for a short time, or you die with a vengeance, an unfinished goal. It is likely you will wind up there, wandering for an eternity, unable to interact with the world right in front of you. Because speaking of which, creatures on the ethereal plane are usually unable to interact with creatures and objects in the material, though they can see them clear as day. They're nonetheless powerless to do anything about it. There are occasional portals within that take you to the deep ethereal, a place entirely devoid of visions of the material and entirely full of possibility, but unable to be used anywhere else. This place was like a massive blob able to be shaped by powerful beings, mages into demi-planes or safe houses, but what was made there had to stay there. Time also passes slower in the deep. For every 10 hours, only one passes in the material, and as such, you could really take advantage of that. So the astral and the ethereal, they share some similarities, namely the fact that they both border the material plane. They're right under our noses, and yet most people would never know they were there. They also have occasional leaks into other realms, and even into each other, as the portals in the astral plane are connected to the ethereal. And lastly, they both lack common grounds of time and gravity with the material. Creatures float and stop aging whilst inside of these planes. They get time and perspective whilst moving within the void. But mostly, while they sound the same, they are very different. Looking at the differences, the astral plane is teeming with diverse life, and the ethereal plane is more so an intermediary location, a cosmic hallway. The astral sea has complex philosophy and politics, empires and religions, and the ethereal plane has some ghosts, and maybe Jim, the pit fiend, taking a dump in the corner. And to nail the point home, the astral plane is an entirely separate realm unto itself. New lands and new space. The ethereal plane exists on top of the material, and only the deep ethereal is a distinct area of which there is no shape or form to it without intent. The ethereal plane's space is the materials. They're the same. Even if they can't see each other, they still have the same land, sea, and skies. Thank you all for watching, everyone. I hope this was informative, or at least entertaining to watch me stumble through my explanations. I'll see you all next week, where we go over optimizing the Bard. Bye.